Hi, I'm Hannah, and welcome back to my channel, Savage Reads. I have read some interesting books that I would like to talk about, so let's just jump into the reading wrap-up. So I first heard about this book from Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, and I read Julia by Sandra Newman. Now, this is a retelling of 1984 from the perspective of Julia. And so I was interested in it. I thought that it could maybe bring a little more to the story, but mostly what this book ended up doing is reminding me that I didn't really love 1984. Do I think that it's in some ways an important book? Yes, I think it has some very interesting ideas and has held up over time, but did I enjoy my time reading 1984? No, not really. And did I enjoy my time reading Julia? I don't know. I don't know why I thought that I was going to like this if I didn't love 1984, right? I think if you love 1984, this adds a really interesting perspective. I actually preferred this to 1984 in a lot of ways. I think in Julia, you understand maybe her motivations a little better and don't have those moments of, why are you doing this? Stop it, stop it. You get it a little bit better. I liked that. Did sometimes it kind of read like 1984 fan fiction? Yes, and that's not to say anything against that. It's just, it went low on the world building because it kind of assumed that you knew what was going on and jumped right into the story, which works, but also you really need to read 1984 first, I feel like. I don't think this is good on its own. I think as a companion piece to 1984, it can be interesting. So overall, for me, I don't know why I picked it up. But if you like 1984, I think you would like this one. This next book was a recommendation from Ray at A Giant Cup of Coffee, and I read Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. Now, I've read quite a few books by Ann Patchett, but it's been a little bit. And I was excited to try out Ann Patchett again. And I think if you're going to step into an Ann Patchett book, you need to be willing to go in for kind of the long haul. It is a life book, and it's not going to be flashy and in your face and exciting things happening at every moment. It's just a reflection on life. And I was kind of in the mood for it, so this book really worked for me. It really was good. This is following Lara. She lives at a beautiful cherry orchard, and they are harvesting all the cherries, and her 3 daughters are there to help her because they are kind of stuck together with the pandemic going on. And her daughters want to hear stories from Lara's past, specifically the story of the summer when Lara dated a famous actor. So you get the perspective of Lara happy with her life, grown up with her family, and you get that story building of what happened back then and how it's influenced her life. And I thought it was really nice and really beautiful, but it is one of those slow, kind of introspective things. I think the author was really trying to focus on feeling happy through what could be considered very difficult times, and I appreciated that. So if you have read an Ann Patchett book, don't expect something very different. It's that kind of thing again. And if you like Ann Patchett, you're gonna be happy with this book. Now, I have been reading the His Dark Materials trilogy to my daughter. We just finished the second one, The Subtle Knife, and these are by Philip Pullman. And I really liked The Golden Compass. I had a good time. It was a fun book to read, enjoyed it. Subtle Knife, I'm starting to question why I got into these, not quite sure. I feel like in Golden Compass, you really connect with Lyra. She has a lot of personality. She's very excited and involved and pushes for what she feels needs to happen. And I kind of feel like you watch a little bit of that spark die in The Subtle Knife, and I'm not quite sure if I'm liking the direction that things are taking. I just am not quite sure if we're supposed to pick a side here, because all the sides seem pretty crappy to me right now, and I'm not sure what to think, so we're reading the third one, but I'm gonna be so bugged. I just know that I'm gonna get to the end and hate it. If anyone's read the trilogy and can reassure me that I'm not gonna hate the last one, that would be helpful, but maybe I'm just gonna hate the last one. So I'm not quite sure what to think so far. I get where The Subtle Knife is going, but we're reading The Amber Spyglass right now, so we'll have to see. I feel like I'm just feeling some big inconsistencies in some of the characters, and I am hoping that that won't continue and will feel more natural and character development, and not just watching these characters that I really liked in The Golden Compass lose anything that makes them interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated. Now, Caitlin at Vandy's Books recommended the book All the Little Bird Hearts by Victoria Lloyd Barlow. This book has an autistic main character who is dealing with trying to make some new friends that just move into the neighborhood, and her daughter is growing up. And that is kind of the whole plot of the book, which I honestly don't love. But the voice of this was really good. This is an autistic character written by an autistic woman, and just her experiences and the way that she sees the world are so interesting and so well put together and help you really understand. And I thought that that was lovely. It was worth picking up just for the character and her worldview. Super interesting. Now, plot-wise, I just don't feel like there was much of a plot. Yes, some things happen, and there were some really kind of touching moments, difficult moments, talking about family relationships and differences, and I get that. I appreciated all of that. But not much happens plot-wise, and I think I just wanted to have a little more to go off of. But it was still worth a read, you know? Like, I'm glad that I picked it up because I haven't read a book that is so like accurately portrayed the experience of an autistic person, and I think that this did a very good job. So I'm glad I picked it up, but just if you read it, don't expect anything to happen. I kept kind of waiting, like, okay, and then is that person gonna die? And is this gonna go, you know, I was just waiting for some big incident. And that's not what this book is. That is what I have read the past week or so. If you have any thoughts on any of these books, let me know in the comments down below, and I will be back soon with another book wrap up. Thanks.